All right, welcome back to Lean Brothers. So there's a question from the comments that ask how we pay for our equipment. Do we finance it? Do we pay cash for it? The answer has been different over the years. So when we first started the smaller machines, when I did a job, usually I would plan on buying a piece of equipment. And it started out, the first job that I did, I would say on my own, was actually our parents' house. When I did that house, I did the labor, but they bought a spray machine or a spray gun and a router that I needed to do some of the stuff. And so that's the first job that I kind of did on my own way before I really started the business and I got a tool. And so I would do that just about every job that I did. Then I would buy a small piece of equipment, a router table, got a table saw, shaper, joiner, planer, those kinds of things. So I slowly accumulated those and I would outsource things, that I didn't have the tooling to do. And so that's kind of how it started. When we kind of got bigger, the first piece of equipment we bought was a CNC. And that's actually one of the other questions that has been mentioned is, would you go with a slider or a CNC first as you're getting started? And 100% I would do the CNC, because it's so much more versatile. You can do a lot. You can buy a cheap table saw and a CNC and you can do way more work than you can do just with a sliding table saw. Anyway, so our first major piece of equipment that we bought was a CNC. That we financed through, the Laguna. I'll even back up. The Laguna that I landed a picture frame contract, and I had originally bought this little desktop or ordered this little desktop CNC, and it was taking forever to get there. And so I decided to go with a little bit bigger CNC. Very glad I did. That was the first Laguna that we bought. That CNC I actually financed, and my parents financed it for me. So I paid him interest just like I would with the bank. He gave me a good rate. I paid him every month, and that was the first piece. When we ordered our first Wiki CNC that's now HOMAG, we did that through Styles Leasing. So it was a great process. Wasn't too hard, turn in some financials, some different things. And we did what's called a dollar buyout lease. And so we leased it it was a 5-year lease. Essentially, it really is pretty much like a loan, but they call it a lease. And at the end, we owed $1 and bought it out. So anyway, a lot of pieces of equipment that we purchased as we were, I would say, just getting started and ramping up, we're all done with those leases, that dollar buyout lease. So our first CNC, we sold that, then we bought our second CNC, that was done through Styles Leasing. Our first edge bander was done through leasing, and I think we actually even linked that with a dust collector as well. The first drill and dowel machine that's sitting right over there, I leased that. The big edge bander, we did that, as well as the Heisman sander. So all those pieces were done through Styles Leasing. Really, it's been about 10 years since we really started ramping up. I quit my full-time job. Cordell and I quit our full-time jobs 9 years ago, and that's really when we started going to town. So in that period of time, we've worked really hard. The last 2 or 3 years, we've been paying cash for all the machines as we've gotten them, which I really like that position better. I don't have to worry about paying the bank. So we've paid off all the equipment. We've paid cash for all the new equipment. And so it just makes it so we can sleep at night really easily, especially with things in the economy, things changing. We know we don't have to make a payment on these machines. So anyway, it evolves, right? So the first piece of equipment, you may have to finance it. Be smart, don't overextend, calculate your ROIs, make sure that even if things go bad, that you can still make the payment, you don't lose your machine, which is the way you make your money. Don't go too fast, be smart about it. I don't think there's anything wrong with financing a piece of equipment if you need to. But as you work hard and smart, one of the other mistakes I've seen business owners make is when they get paid, they take a lot of money out of the business. Like, oh man, we made all this money. The choice we made was to leave a lot of the money in the business and just take out the minimum we need to live on. And so by doing that, then we were able to grow and use that capital, never be nervous, always be able to make payroll and all those things, and then be able to pay those machines off quicker, and then be able to eventually save up and buy new pieces of equipment. So like this saw, the great thing was we saw this on an auction. It's 5 years old. It was at HOMAG Canada's showroom, meant to go in a store. And so because we had the money, we were able to just buy it on auction. I had to pay for it the next day, so I didn't have to try and arrange financing or anything. And we were able to save an awful lot of money to do this. So anyway, it's a process, but ultimately our goal is to pay cash. And that's really our goal moving forward, is to be in that position, but one step at a time. So hope that helped. Hope that answered your question.